Hello, welcome back to Skyrocket Automotive. This is Pandora, just about the coolest retro camper van I think I've ever seen. This is an early 80s Fiat 900e. Last episode we had a load of fun with the fuel system, including the tank, carburetor, fuel lines. Yep, we also had some fun with the brakes. Oh my god, my eyes. I went to see a school play last night that had pirates in it. Yep, but we got Pandora driving for the first time in many years and it felt great. For a council flat, doesn't actually drive too badly. Now, the elephant in the room. This is a lovely van, but this is also an Italian van. And as beautifully built as it is and beautifully designed as it is, we can't put it off anymore. We got to look into the electrical system. Now, I know nothing about the electrical system on this other than flicking the indicator stalk and listening to it clicking and bibbing the horn a couple of times. This could either go really well and be a result, or we could be in for a whole world of hurt. And it's me, so I know exactly which one of those it's going to be. Right, join us. Just like that, look. It's not been as long as it looks. We had one of them horrible dusty rainstorms blow through and just all the cars on the forecourt. Well, it's one of my jobs today is clean everybody because we're gopping. This spider is persistent. I must find him because he keeps building houses right where I need to be. Now, I'm cool with spiders as long as I know they're there. I get the feeling this guy's gonna give me the drop bear treatment. First of all, try the key, see if it runs. All right, I think we need to have a look at the tune-up, but not right now. Here we go. We got wipers. Wipers are down. Not even trying. Great. Screen wash. Horn. Oh, at least that works. Okay, what's this? I'm hearing something trying to work. We have an indicator that side. Indicator, side repeater. Side repeater's dead. All right, and what about the other side? Ooh. Side repeater. Indicator. Indicator's dead on the back. There's a third one. Could be for just about anything. It goes up and down, but it doesn't seem to do anything. All right, hazards. Oh no. Headlights? Or whatever that does. No. Ooh! A very dim headlight and a very dim headlight. Right, so let's now try with the stalk. Any change? Did it do anything? What did you see? Now they're off. That one's not. We got a side light down on this side. Okay, that stalk, I presume, is some sort of dip high beam switch. Okay, so what? But what's this one then? This has got a headlight on it too. No. Here we go. So wash wipe does nothing. This headlight switch, yeah man. Washer pump's just doing 400 mile an hour and we've got wipers. What is going on with this? I'm looking and I'm thinking that that's aftermarket. I'll tell you what though, convincing enough job that it fooled me at a quick glance. Right, so that says to me that the wash wipe aspect of the stalk isn't working. What's happening with our wiring under here? Yeah, that's aftermarket. Okay, that's fine. We've had a rolling repair done. That makes sense. It's better than not having wipers, eh? So the reason it doesn't work at all at the moment, I'm going to say, is probably on account of the fact but the connections for it are here. Yep, and it's live all the time. Hello? Hello? Ah, there we go. That's our washer pump, and it sounds most unhappy. Really? That's the washer fluid reservoir. Oh, what a cool design. That's bananas, I've never seen that before. Oh no, there's gonna be death in here, isn't there? Okay, let me go and get some water and see if this will fill up. And let's find out. Oh. Sorry, Luke. Okay, so I think their aim is a bit off. What do you think? That's cool. We know that the washer jet now works. I feel it's probably a good idea for us to try and get our stalk operational, and I'll explain why. You've probably looked at this vehicle and wondered to yourself, why? Why restore this? Why not just go and buy a nice one, as everybody likes to point out? Pretty much any time somebody buys a car that's got some rust. Oh, for those people, I'm sorry, I'm afraid to say you just don't get it. I don't know what to tell you. Anyway, I'm gonna have to try and navigate this one as tactfully as I can. So not to go into too much detail, Pandora has been in the same family for a very long time and was left to a young lady who is due to start driving soon. She's going to be driving Pandora, which is so cool. Also, a great idea. I fully encourage people, if you've got kids that are coming up to learning to drive age and they're looking for a car, get a cheap classic. There are so many good reasons to do so. Half of them are really slow, so they're not going to get into any trouble, unlike driving around in a 400 horsepower remapped 1 Series on finance. They're not paying a massive monthly amount with no big balloon payment at the end. It's their vehicle. Classic car insurance, even for younger people, tends to be quite cheap. And if you get one that's old enough, they're also tax exempt. They actually end up being a very, very cheap runaround. And they're cool. I tend to find with classics, because they're so strange, so unusual, a young person who's enthusiastic about them can make them their own. Not only does that give you the fundamentals of vehicle maintenance as a skill, which I think everybody should know the basics to get yourself out of trouble, it also, I tend to think, if you've worked on your vehicle and it's your pride and joy, yours, you own it, you're going to be more inclined to look after it. That's a bit of backstory on Pandora. Now, why did I say all of that? We're going to be dealing with a new driver. Now, it's already going to be quite nerve-wracking driving on your own for the first time, and I don't want there to be any quirks to the way the controls work on this, because that switch is fine if you know it's there and how to use it, but even I am still confused about why the wash is on there as well, because you have to go to position 2, which runs the wipers and the washer jet constantly, then you turn it to position 1 to keep the wipers running. Bit too finicky, I think. I think we're better off trying to repair and reinstate the wash wipe stalk on this. It's going to make for a safer set of controls that are more easily to hand. There's no need to reach around the dashboard. Just keep your hands on the wheel and turn your wipers on. If it was my daughter that was going to be driving this, I'd want to make sure that she knew where all the controls were like that, without having to be distracted, looking around. It's just safer, I think. Plus, it's fun fixing things that are broken. What else do you guys want to watch on the channel? I'm understanding why this was done, by the way. There's almost definitely going to be a problem with our wiper stalk. We just need to get this guy out of the way. Yeah, that hazard plug is... There we go. Ooh. Come back. Got a pair of connectors here that look like they go together. That's the wiper motor. And I believe he was hot wired. Yeah, I don't like this one bit. We're permanently live at 12 volts there. Nothing there. It is an earth wire, right. I think that's been removed from this connector over here. So let's reinstate that, if it's at all possible to. Pandora, I'd really like to get something done on you today, please, because this is a faff. In case you're wondering, absolutely killing me. That's the back situation. This is not the easiest dashboard to be hunched over. It's the steering wheel's like super close. Oh yeah, fecker. That goes off to the wiper motor. Okay, just to save you guys being bored to absolute tears, this was every bit as obnoxious as it looks like it was. I had to hunch over the steering wheel, reach down inside that tiny little aperture in the dashboard, which you might not think is a tiny little aperture until you're trying to reroute wires and connect them into the back of connectors again. I had to find out which was the live, where it was supposed to go and when, and I was doing all of this, flying absolutely blind with no wiring diagram. With that said, Fiat themselves have multiple wiring diagrams for these vehicles, so there's no real way to be 100% sure. Basically, eventually I cracked it. Just monkeys and typewriters. I figured it out, and yeah, we ended up with some signs of life. We still weren't there yet, but we were getting there, and that's the important thing. Right. Okay, so this side needs to be earthed. That makes sense because there's another white with black trace just back there, so that'll be an earth. Also quite concerning to know that there was a hot 12 volt just sat behind the dash like that. We're definitely doing the right thing by getting rid of this. Yeah, like I say, if we give this guy, nothing happens, but if we give an earth there, that's full chat. That's a blind fuse. God, I hate the sound of that bloody thing. Little bit of a shift in gear, sorry about that. Something that's been irritating me pretty much consistently the whole time I've been trying to move Pandora around is a somewhat intermittent starter. Now, I don't think it's the starter motor that's the problem, because when it works, it just yings away. It's good as gold. Something I did notice is that the leads, the battery leads, are just 7 different types of knackered. They're covered in rust. It's no good. Anyway, we're going to make some new ones. So, the other thing I hated about this is that the positive lead is green and the earth is red. I'm not doing it. I refuse. Too much potential there for hooking the battery up back to front. We don't want that. I'm going to show you how to make a battery lead. Now, I don't make these often, so I don't like to go gaga with the tools I buy. There are lots of other fancy pants tools that you can buy. I bought a kit. Cost about 25 quid. You even get turning wheels with it. Basically, got this big so-and-so here. They look like a set of bolt croppers, but basically that's for levering force, for crushing. So these jaws, you press that selector in there, and you can rotate it round to different sizes. See the difference? Let me make that more exaggerated actually. There you go, you see what I mean. So this will do from little to big. This is essentially, well, it is a crimping tool, but it's just a massive version of the one that you get from Halfords with the, I thought this might just be handy for anybody. So like I say, you can buy these really cheap. I'll be honest with you, I've had to make a few of these without the tool the last couple of months. I just seem to be getting more and more of that job through. And it's meant that I've decided finally to buy one. I always think if you need the tool more than twice, or you have to borrow it more than twice, just go and buy it, because it's just going to be so much easier. Plus you're not irritating everybody by asking to borrow their tools every 5 minutes. So I've gone and bought myself one. I wouldn't say that you needed one of these. Borrow one if you're only doing like one set of battery leads on one car. So really good quality battery cable. I've wrapped it in black just to make it easier to spot. It really doesn't matter. It's more of a confusion thing, but as you can see from the green positive and red negative we had, this is already going to be much easier than it was before. And then we just want to, I would recommend that you use a wire stripper for this, so you don't end up with thumbs like mine. Take a good portion off like that. Break the insulation, pull. Then you've got a nice tight bundle of cable. Well, we need some quite big ones for this, mostly on account of me probably having to reshoot this whole video again, because that's so, just give me a minute. Christ. The reason that I always twist it up like that is if you leave the wires laying flat, when you crimp it, it just crushes the wires. It's possible for them to go limp. You want to compact it as much as possible, so the wire's got nowhere to go, and then when you crimp it, everybody locks down nice and tight. Seems Happy Gilmore. Get our crimper. We want to pick a much smaller size than the biggest size possible. This can be a bit of a faff. Sometimes helpful to put the crimp fitting in the tool first and then insert your wire, but then you just set to, show it who's boss, and then it doesn't work. Right. See, I can't pull that out of there now. Happy days. And then I'm going to just wrap that off. Oh yeah, that ain't going anywhere, especially now I've said that. So we've got our nice thick rubber self-amalgamating tape. I like using this on the end of heavy duty leads just because it makes a neat job and it just gives that extra little bit of resistance to chafing and shorting out on things. Obviously this one's an earth lead, but we got to have a uniform situation going on. What we doing? So give me 20 to 30 minutes to get the backing off of this bastard stuff. Come on. That was really boring to watch, so I didn't film it. So, not only do we now have nice new battery cables, I also found a terminal off on the alternator. Now that tells me the alternator probably wasn't charging, which explains why it had this weird battery drain. Fingers crossed, we're now charging, Pandora, eh? Because I'm getting real tired of schlepping that battery in and out, I must admit. That's the most inclined to start this has ever been, so that was worth doing. Come on, wakey wakey. Come on, we've got stuff to do. What? What's the matter? Really? Come on. Our connector back there wasn't getting an adequate earth for some reason. I reinstated it all, and if we flick the key on, one, that's great. Obviously they're not going to be over the moon right now because we're running off the ignition key. Quite strangely though, now the wipers are working, the instrument cluster's gone down. What? I told you it was Italian. I knew this was going to happen. I wish it hadn't, but I knew it was going to. Right, question is, what is the deal with airline food? What's going on there? Why has this happened? And who do I complain to? Right, okay. Turns out it was just a popped fuse. Not really sure how it happened. That's full chat. That's a blown fuse. Indicator's back. We've got a headlight flash. Do we have headlights themselves as they appear in the flesh? Oh yes. What about, so that's dipped. Oh, that's the indicators. That's dipped. That's dipped. Off. So that'll be side lights. Side lights. Dipped. Full beam. They're not great. We can change those out though. Oh, right, we've got a headlight telltale going on. No high beam telltale, that's going to cause us some aggro. Shame. Alright, horn, wipers. Wipers are still up. So what's happening? So weirdly, we briefly had and then lost again our hazard light switch. That is MOT critical. Okay, our flasher unit isn't sounding too happy. Far more concerningly for me is that our hazards are down. There's obviously an iffy wire somewhere. Just add the fuse in it. First things first, I want to thank Andy so much for this Haynes manual. You have no idea how helpful it was, my friend. On this occasion, the helpfulness was to point out that Pandora's wiring didn't really line up with any of the diagrams in the manual, but there are some insanely useful bits of information available in there that I'm absolutely going to be putting to use during this project. So again, Andy, thank you so much. As you can see, I did an awful lot of digging through all the wiring diagrams. I made notes, took references, made comparisons, went back and forth over and over and over again. It was just the most infuriating process. I consider myself fairly patient when it comes to wiring, but there's just no logic. Stuff that should be a permanent live on one wiring diagram is a ground on another, and there's no real way to tell what Fiat's game plan was with this whole situation. Long story short, I put a lot of work in, there was a lot of faff in, and there were a lot of big gaps in this project, so as per usual, you've got the mandatory skyrocket hairstyle change happening about now. We push on. So apparently blue with black is a 12 volt feed. We'll see about that. We appear to have no volts, and that is meant to be our supply in from the fuse box. Right, let me check on the fuse situation. Great. Do we have power at the fuse? That looks an awful lot like we haven't got any power at the fuse to me. And it did say fuse 1. Yeah, there's no way, there's no power at that. Is it live with the ignition? Yep, okay. I'd have liked to have thought that we would have had power there, whether the key was on or off. Why would they make it so that the coil has to be powered when you've got an ignition problem? Oh! This is HepCat, the hepatitis cat, on Skyrocket Radio. Ready for some light frustration? Maybe a light miff? A gentle huff? We've got it all for you coming up on Skyrocket Radio. Voltage that side. Oh! Oh, we've got it now. Okay. Question is, has that helped our hazard switch? Because before, that's enough. Before, we had nothing at our hazard switch. Honestly, at this point, I was really starting to get so frustrated with this fan. Sometimes you just have to show things going wrong so that people understand that they're not alone, and you start chasing your tail on an electrical fault, and the next thing you know, you feel like you're losing your mind. Oh, what happened next was even more frustrating than that. Enjoy! We've got a single in that's getting 12 volts. That's the orange, which according to the schematic should be the right one. So what is happening? Have the turn signals gone down as well now? Seriously? Stop laughing. I checked that. It was fine. So what's the story? Well, I went through and checked out the front side of the fuse box, and sure enough we had some corroded terminals I cleaned up. I'm pretty sure I got that on film. If I didn't, something didn't feel right. Everything was just taking a little bit too much effort. So I dropped the fuse box, and sure enough, there's half a dashboard laying on top of the fuse box. And I think it's been out before, because half the spade connectors were most of the way unplugged. Now that wouldn't have helped. Connected them back up, and then I wasn't keen on the look of the fuse, so I changed the fuse. Before you start, I changed that fuse. Pandora has a galloping leak through the windscreen, and I'm pretty sure while we've been noodling about that some corrosion's found its way in, because this fuse is basically brand new and it's already corroded. Probably electrolysis. Obviously they're dissimilar metals. I'm equal parts furious and chuffed that that's over, because now we can move on and do the welding. Sorry if this has been a bit of a weird video, vibe-wise. It was just one of them parts of the project that I didn't enjoy this bit. And I hope I haven't been grumpy, that wasn't the intention, but I think it's important to show that this job's my passion. I don't surround myself with stuff like this because I hate what I do for a living. But even I have days where I'm like, I've had enough of this now, can we get on? Why was I as agitated as I was about that situation? Well, that's it. Everything works. Pandora can be brought into the workshop now and put up in the air, knowing that all the electrics work. We're putting things back together, and then it's just minor mechanical bits after the welding's been done. So, yeah. Now we need to do something about this. Ooh, that's cool. Nice bit of wood grain for you. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. You can find more videos there somewhere. There's a little bingle for the channel there. You can click on that and see what other adventures me and this old girl have had. Appreciate you watching. Holy moly. We're in for it. Here we go.